This was obviously a mistake.
Like, we're a little put in there just so we have it on file.
No dogs allowed?
Yeah. We're gonna go really quick on it.
No, I was just trying to look at it. My thumbprint worked. I can't.
Well, it's not dumb, it's a.
I did my thumb.
She did it.
You can do whatever you want with your fingerprint. All
She
five of
said
your
index
fingers
fingers, follow the rule, they're all eligible for one.
Didn't work.
They're all eligible to see yours.
One read. They're like, no dogs allowed.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. They deleted it again. I did like 7 every time.
They're like,
Access denied.
they're like, security's beefing up. They're like,
Here, guys,
Like, we're gonna allow you to at least put your finger on file.
you got one more time before we send you a shockwave through your body.
I'm sure I did it.
Put your finger on the thing.
Well, no, I mean, you want to open it, at least say, hey, you did it?
Oh, Terry, you just have to sit there and it'll scan.
Yeah, that's what, it had a little.
I did mine just as
Nothing happened.
See, I did my pointer finger and it said no, and then I did my thumb and it let me in.
Which one do you use?
Thumb. I just forgot I did the thumb instead of the pointer. No, but I know, but like at least it's reading it, is what I'm saying. Why stand?
I have to push this button. Move on the set. I hope I can sit down.
Why did you just move your laptop up there? Okay. This could have been made so much easier. And laptop.
Stand for a little bit.
Stretch it out.
I'm pressure this button doesn't work when I hit it.
It's almost over.
Is that a Scott Cochran shirt? Is it really?
I mean, you
We're
read
in
the
the
shirt.
5K last week. Last year.
It's the same.
What?
That video?
Yeah. I clearly backfired.
Oh, right now, I don't know what he's playing. Yeah. It's the days of Christians.
Coach will open with a comment. Raise your hand. Keep them up for me.
How's everybody doing? Good. Well, when I talked to you after the game, I said, or on Monday, I talked about, identifying some of the things that we need to do to improve, and, everybody sort of identifying and focusing individually, collectively as units, each group, as well as each unit, as to what we need to do to try to improve. And I think the question every day that you can ask yourself as a player, did I get better today? Did I have the focus, the mental energy? Did I finish plays? Did I do things the way I was supposed to do them so that it gives me the opportunity to get better. And I think that if I was going to evaluate practice, I'd say we have a significant number of guys that probably did that, and I say we have a few guys that I don't know how they would answer that question. So, but it's important that we get everybody sort of buying in to doing things that way so that we can improve individually and collectively as units and groups. You know, we've got the Coach for Cure, you know, this week, which involves finding a cure for muscular dystrophy, which, you know, we're very supportive of as an institution as well as individually. Nick's Kids is honoring our Teachers Excellence Award recipients at the game. You know, Terry and I both were teachers at one time. Coaching is probably teaching. Teaching is really the ability to inspire learning. So we have a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation for people who really give their lives to trying to help other people have more success. And I know some of the people that had the greatest impact on my life were some of the teachers that I had. I mean, I still remember them in 3rd grade, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 6th grade, 5th grade. I had a lot of good ones, and I was probably pretty fortunate for that. So we're happy to be able to do that this Saturday.
Coach, we'll start on the right here with Charlie.
With several players around the country choosing to transfer, what does it say about Jalen's character that he's still here and willing to continue to play for you guys?
Well, you know, I think Jalen has been very, very professional about, you know, the way he's sort of handled the situation he's in. You know, I've said it's a unique situation. Nobody's ever been in this situation before. Won 26 games here, and now all of a sudden somebody else is playing. But what he has done is he's worked every day to try to get better. He's focusing on improving and, you know, the value that he can get from this season, because we're going to play him as much as we possibly can. He deserves to play. He's a good player. And, you know, there may be a time in the future where, you know, he becomes the guy if something happens. So we're not hoping for that narrative, certainly, but you know, I think it speaks volumes of his character to stick with his teammates, be a part of his team, finish the season. And, you know, I've always said how much respect I have for both the guys. But, you know, Jalen has, and how you handle things when you're in a difficult situation, I think speaks volumes of who you are. The one thing we're all going to have in life is we're going to have a lot of problems. You know, life is difficult. How you handle the problems is the one thing that you can control. And I think that this is certainly an obstacle that will help him be more successful in the future, and the way he's handled it is certainly going to help him handle issues and problems that we all have in our lives in the future.
No, Michael.
Just wonder what went into hiring Carl Scott coming from Lafayette. I know he'd just been named to DC there. How did that all come about that he came here?
Well, you know, I was interested in him because he was at Texas Tech, so it didn't really, you know, to be honest with you, when I sort of called about him to find out about him, I didn't really know he even left Texas Tech, so I didn't even know for sure he was at ULL. So that really had nothing to do with it. You know, he had really good recommendations as a person, as a recruiter, as a teacher, and as a coach, where he's been in the past. Several coaches on the staff knew him, so he did a nice job in the interview when he was here, and he's done a nice job with the players on the team this year.
How about you back on the right with Ben?
There's probably a lot more attention on recruiting now than when you started coaching, and the guys that you recruit tend to get more attention than a lot of the other guys around the country. What are some of the effects of guys who are that young kind of getting all that attention that you've seen?
Well, I think that, you know, it's almost unfair in a way. I know that seems probably unreasonable for me to say, because a lot of these guys get a lot of positive self-gratification from the attention that they get, and, you know, that's great. But when it sets an expectation and a standard for what they think they ought to be able to accomplish and how soon that they should be able to do that, and they lose the focus on what do I have to do to be a good player, rather than get frustrated because I'm not playing, because those things don't work in a very positive way for someone. And I think when you have tremendously high expectations for when you come in, and you're not focused on what you need to do to be a good player, learn your position so you can be a complete player at your position, then you struggle when you have issues and you get frustrated because you feel like you're not meeting the standard and the expectation that somebody else created for you. And it takes a lot of maturity for guys to do that. And we've had some guys here that have been able to do it and done it very well. And I'm happy that they get a lot of positive self-gratification for what they do and the quality of players that they are. But to keep that in perspective and be real about what you have to do to continue to progress as a player. Just like every player that leaves here has to go be a complete player at the next level. Every player that comes here has to learn how to play, at this level. As long as that attention doesn't affect their ability to do that, I think it's great.
Coach, last one will go here with Ryan.
How would you characterize the relationship you and your program have with ESPN, and how do you think that relationship has evolved over the course of your tenure?
Look, I have a tremendous amount of respect for media all over the country. We have a lot of good relationships with a lot of people. ESPN obviously is one of the people who do a great job, in my opinion, with college football. They're a great partner of the SEC, as is CBS. And they have given us a very, very fair shake in everything that we've done. Sometimes we get criticized, but I think sometimes when we get criticized, the first question you got to ask is, do I deserve to be criticized? Because sometimes you do. And you can't just get mad because you got criticized. But I think there's been a lot of positive things because I have a tremendous amount of respect for Lee Fitting, who runs that whole organization and operation up there when it comes to college football, and Kirk Herbstreit and, a lot of the people who work, in that organization. And I was very pleased with the quality of what they did, like for, the little training days thing they did here for 4 shows. I thought that was really quality. And everything that we've ever done with them, Tom Rinaldi, those guys are really first class. And there's a lot of first class people in the media on a national basis. And, we respect what you all do for all of our players. They get a lot of attention, a lot of positive self-gratification. They get a lot of recognition for the hard work that they do. And when they perform well, they benefit from some of those things. So, I would say that it has grown, and I hope it's good. You'd have to ask them what they think of my part of it, but I certainly appreciate their part of it.
Okay, good. That's all we got.
Thanks.